Hello everyone. I hope that you are doing well tonight. I'm coming to you tonight to have a conversation with a Boer farmer, and he's also a veteran of the Iraq War um, who fought in support of America and in support of American soldiers who he saw as brothers. Um, I'm hoping that he will be able to um, speak out to inform more Americans of what is taking place in South Africa to the white minority community, and just to have a great conversation and open the eyes of some people that may not know some of these things. So, um, obviously, name and identity will be protected, and we won't show his face for security purposes. But I thank all of you for listening, and I hope you will enjoy the conversation. So, I want to start out by talking a little bit about your military service in supporting America and American soldiers that you consider to be your brothers.
Well, Brandy, I've had the privilege of working with extremely interesting, highly qualified, highly intelligent individuals through a broad base of the DoD and DOS over the years. To name a few, I've worked with Green Berets, I've worked with Rangers, I've worked with some Delta, some SEALs, just to name a few. I've worked with a number of other specialized individuals in the private sector, SAS and the like. So I've really had the privilege of working with the cream of the crop over the years.
Thank you for that. And as you know, especially Texans, we support our military and respect our military greatly. So thank you for your service. Can you tell us if there's anybody special that you served under as a commander, and what military branches that you served with in supporting, and where did you serve?
Over the years, I got to work with and look after a lot of Tier 1 clients that we classify as Tier 1 clients in our line of work. Admirals, 1-star to 4-star generals, a couple of full-bird colonels. We looked after a lot of high-profile people. Also had the privilege of working with a legend in his own right from the States, ex-Command Sergeant Major of the Rangers. He knows, people in the know will know exactly who he is. A solid individual that, I look up to any time of the day. Leave no soldier behind. Just a great individual.
So yes, anyone in the know will know who this man is. He is a great legend here in the United States, as far as being a great man and a ranger. So anyone in the know will know. And is there anything that you can tell us that you learned from him, that you took home with you, and that maybe stuck with you, that you'll never forget?
Um, there's no job too big or too small. He always um, he always had his operators in mind. Um, in hostile environments, he didn't just send out individuals when it was not conducive to do so. Um, he always had his operators in mind, seeing that he was also an operator himself. So, from that point of view, highly respected. Um, he doesn't take chances. Um, there were other things that I did, take from him. He actually showed me a little bit more about the American way of life with the um, a whole lot of different things, explaining to me what this 4th of July is, and what's that day called again? Thanksgiving. That's it. It's a huge thing in the States, which we don't know in South Africa. So that was an eye opener when he explained what that was all about. We don't have those days here. We just have the standard Christmas, Easter, that kind of thing.
So, yeah, Thanksgiving is a very big time in America. If you were at my home, you would eat until you thought you were going to die, and there would be so many people that you would think you were going to go insane. So, yeah, I'm sure experiencing that for the first time is something totally different than anything that you're used to. So let me ask you another question. Taking into consideration what is happening to your people, um, the brutal torture, rape, killing that has been going on for so long, does this fact, along with the fact that you have fought and risked your life to support America and American troops for a cause that was not your own, when today it seems like America maybe has turned their back and ignored this, um, does this make you feel a sense of betrayal in a way? Um, because, our military motto is no man left behind. And I feel that should apply to all military who have supported us and defended us.
Look, as a South African, I can speak for myself. I can't speak for others. But from the word on the ground, I don't hold the US people, responsible for the disinformation that's taken place. I believe if they look hard enough, they'll find the truth, and that's what I'd ask them to do. We respect and always have respected the United States. We don't have any issues. We don't feel like we've been betrayed. I think the media has actually betrayed South Africa around the world, and that's who we should be targeting right now. That the truth come out, not hold countries responsible. Countries can only take action once they know the truth. So what I would say to the people in the United States and around the world is, please, get yourself informed. There's a number of social media outlets where you can get the correct information. without any frills, and bells and whistles. But it is all out there. We don't hold Americans responsible at all, when it comes to that. So I would easily, anytime, any day, if called upon by your DOD, to serve once again.
Wow, that's amazing. That was actually going to be my next question is, um, if you were called on today to do the same thing, would you still do it, knowing what you know now? So thank you for that. It's greatly appreciated. And I would like to ask you, um, what would you say to any military people that might be listening? Active military, um, veterans, anyone, so that they know what you're facing and the support that you need. Because I feel that if if they truly knew, other Americans like myself, and that includes military, um, if they knew what your people are truly facing every day, they would stand up and demand answers.
Well, I would ask, serving military today and veterans, and basically the population in general in the US, and around the world, to get out there and check what the truth actually is. When people start to shout war cries, as a number of other political parties have, not once, not twice, many, many times, at rallies, to eliminate the white population of this country, of South Africa. Um, we just ask that you open your eyes and find the truth. And should you feel that you want to support us in any way, make your voices heard. We're not asking for funding or anything like that. We just want the truth out there. And if you believe that it's right, right is right and wrong is wrong. Everybody knows what's right and wrong. So I just ask, the American population, serving members and veterans, to go out there and open your eyes and see what the truth is, and follow your heart.
Yes, and this is a problem because Americans don't know what is really going on, and that is due to the media lies and bias. Um, but it's out there for anyone to see. Anyone can go to YouTube and look up Julius Malema of the EFF party, singing to his followers at rallies, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, genocide, and shooting a machine gun, and nothing happening. It's insane. It's actually the most insane thing that I can ever imagine happening in my government. For a government official to stand up at a rally and call on their followers to murder all farmers, all whites, or all of anybody. It's insanity. I can't even imagine. It's terrifying, actually. And nothing is done. The ruling party does nothing. You guys have no um, things in place to protect you, to protect your people. Um, and you have a government against you. That's complete insanity.
Well, that's the problem right here. Is people are allowed to do these things, and these political parties are allowed to stand to be voted for by the majority. When those people have broken every rule in the book to stand for an election. It's insane. Well, it seems that it's a narrative that is backed, in my opinion, by the state. That there's these other groups that are let loose to do and say what they want. They're not put in their place. I mean, Julius Malema has clearly come out against your president. He feels no threat whatsoever from a first world country, which he has no idea what he's getting himself into. It's exactly. But the thing is, how many have to die before the world actually stands up and is counted? This is my question.
Right, and this is the exact reason why we are speaking out, to try to stop the murder and the torture and the rapes before it's too late. Because the fact is, your people are facing a genocide, and they have been for a long time, but it came on slow, and now it is becoming extreme, where your people are about 4 to 5 million facing a civil war, a potential full-on attack by about 80 million, and that number includes, surrounding, all surrounding places that will come to support these government parties and these attackers, and it's insane. So, this is what we've been working so hard to prevent from happening.
Yes, this is correct. This is correct. We have neighboring countries that would more than likely support the masses, as there is no borders, as was put forward by Julius Malema, that Africa is one country and they're all brothers. So, in other words, we're sitting between a rock and a hard place. There is no further south we can go, and that's just the bottom line.
And, facing this, your people have already been disarmed once, right? The government confiscated weapons. So essentially, they have no protection, most people, because the laws are different for them, for whites. There's already been one confiscation of weapons, but also the astronomical cost to get a gun and the long wait periods for whites are way different. So a lot are basically unprotected. They have no means of protecting themselves against attack.
Yes, you are correct there, and they are pushing again early in this year to try and take more weapons away once more, making it a lot much harder or almost impossible to actually own a firearm to defend your family and your home. And with the laws that are in place these days, you're basically not able to protect your home or your family anyway, even if you had the tools to do so. Well, basically, at the end of the day, if somebody is busy raping your wife and you can possibly identify him, you cannot do anything. You should let him go and and then try and identify them at a later stage and see if the law will prevail to put him away. It's not like the laws that you have in the States where you have castle law, whereby you can protect your home and your family. Yeah, you got to you have to wait and to be shot upon and attacked, and then you have to have a look at all the other legalities that you could face in the event that you do take out an assailant. Look, there are laws at the moment that support in part legitimate protection. If you're behind burglar bars or something to that effect, you may not do anything. You can watch them ransack your home, but you may not engage. That's the kind of thing. You've got to wait for the person to basically rip off the burglar barring and confront you physically with a weapon before you can actually engage that target. It's definitely the rules are not there for the law-abiding citizen, if you understand.
That is just insane to me. I live in a place where if my life is in imminent danger or the life of my children, I can shoot you, kill you where you stand. It doesn't matter where that may be. We can be in the grocery store. And if you are a threat to my life, I can protect myself with deadly force.
And as it should be that legal, law-abiding citizens should be able to defend themselves and their families and their property. At least you have the right kind of constitution, whereby ours is bent and molded towards protecting the criminal for some reason.
I try to never take this for granted. The fact that we have a constitution in place that protects us. Even though it was created hundreds of years ago, it was created very brilliantly. And the Second Amendment was put in there so that we could protect ourselves against government tyranny should it arise. And for all of those who laugh at this and who think this could never happen, I would like you to take a look at what's happening in South Africa today. Government tyranny, and the people being disarmed where they cannot fight back.
Exactly. And, should the Americans feel that there is no reason to stand in now, we might, if we live through this, we might talk about this in a couple of years' time. Same thing could be same thing could exactly be happening to you in the States. You must remember, if you become a minority, you've got an issue.
Yes, it won't come in my generation, but it will come. If Americans don't stand up and stop it, it will come. It'll come for our grandchildren. I already see the signs, the first stages of exactly what happened to you, to your people. I have another question. So your people are mostly conservative Christians, and they hold the same value systems as the majority of Americans. And I know that all will not leave, but those who wish to leave, if they were able to come to the U.S., do you think they would assimilate easily to our way of life? And what positives would they bring to our country?
100%. 100%. 100% South Africans are all over the world. We have blended in within societies. If it wasn't for the way we speak, if we took on a Texan accent, I doubt you'd be able to tell the difference. Difference is we're not out there to suck on government's funding. We're pretty self-sustainable nation. Well, yes, 100%. That's a show of weakness. We bring a quality of life to whatever we touch. We try to build on whatever we touch. We do not destroy, and that is what's sad these days.
Can you tell us about crime in South Africa as a whole? Because it's pretty much turned into a third world country, and the crime rate for all is like a war zone. It's insane compared to what it once was.
Well, crime. I suppose you get everywhere in the world, but I think this has got to a new level. The barbaric nature of how things are done by the criminals these days. I'm sure people have heard it's not just robbery. This is cold-blooded killing. Of women, children, raping. The brutality is unimaginable to most. I mean, you might as well watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I doubt it would even get close. It's hard to even describe. I mean, how do you crucify a young child on a table, raped multiple times, and then brutally killed? People getting bitten with irons, with boiling water, with, acid. They've come up with every possible painful way to kill people that you could think of, and then some. So the crime in this country is out of control. You can't go anywhere without wondering, what you could be seeing today or hearing from somebody in your community, within families. There's very few people nowadays that crime hasn't touched in some way, shape, or form. It's
And no one is safe. And the level of brutality in these crimes is unimaginable. Even infants are not spared. And you can be murdered changing your tire on your way home from work if you get a flat tire. I actually know of a story where a man got a flat tire on his way home from work and was murdered, shot in the back, and all that was taken was his cell phone. Senseless.
nobody's safe in this country, and that also comes down at the end of the day. This is not just affecting the white minority. There are other minorities that this also affects, and in part, it also affects a couple of black farmers too, and I'll put it straight out there too. I don't know if somebody was misinformed when they do these things. They even prepared to kill their own kind. But overall, the majority are, the minorities, which are targeted, brutally killed in ways that no human being should go through.
But I would like to point out that these attacks on whites are based on race. The viciousness, the brutality of these attacks are based on the color of their skin, and they are very targeted attacks based on the fact that they are white.
Exactly. You can go. Sure, sure. You can go on to. There's a couple of documentaries that have been put out there by a company called Carte Blanche, which have proof that members of political parties have actually been driving this, and it's they've been for a long, long time. There's proof there. We just have to look for it. And at the end of the day, you have these political parties shouting this at the top of their lungs on a daily basis, and their followers will devoutly follow them. And the basic objective is that there's no white people left here, and who do they think is going to feed them at the end of the day? It has never made sense.
And I've seen the number 70,000, but actually a more accurate number is that about 100,000 white South African and Boer farmers, including entire families, have been viciously slaughtered without mercy since the end of apartheid. The stories and crime scene photos are unimaginable. The torture and level of brutality, worse than any nightmare you could ever imagine. Even the smallest children are not spared from gang rape and torture. The attackers take pride in these things. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of images of them bragging online of raping white women, elderly, and children with intent to give them AIDS. It's out of control. It's insane. It's no place to live and thrive. I can't imagine.
They continue to do this. They continue to do this. You're 100% correct there, Brandy. There's 100% correct. We just had deaths now in a white, it's not even a white school. There were a couple of white kids now that passed away tragically due to a building or a school that is in disrepair. Some of the building fell onto these kids, and the first thing that these people have to say is they're happy that these kids are dead. I mean, those kids have hurt nobody. Their families have killed nobody. How can you even... No remorse for nothing. These kids are innocent. They've done absolutely nothing wrong, and people are just happy to hear that white people are dying, and push that narrative to the rest of their populace. And it just shows the barbaric nature of how things are going.
So please explain to us why there's such an extreme level of brutality in the torture, rape, and murders, and why even babies aren't safe from it. This has to do with cultural differences between your people and the attackers. The value system, the moral system, and also, the beliefs, Tell us about the practicing of Sangoma, or why they do some of these things.
A lot of first world countries won't understand the type muti that we talk about, where you take genital parts of humans, you take lion fat. There's multiple types of mutis that these people get sold and mixed together to believe that they are invisible and bulletproof and untouchable. It's a type of ancestry that they believe in, witchcraft, that they can speak to their ancestors, and their ancestors are guiding them to basically do what they do. This is a thing that a lot of first world countries don't understand, because it doesn't happen there. You don't have somebody saying to you, phone this number. This is the Sangoma, which is a witch doctor that you can make an appointment with, and I will give you the winning lottery numbers. Most of us that have a little bit of common sense would first say, if you had the winning numbers, why aren't you a multimillionaire? But yet you have people that go to these kinds of people to get loved ones back, to become invincible, and the like. I mean, it's beyond comprehension.
And for Americans, what this basically is voodoo. Believing that raping a virgin cures AIDS, eating the heart of a farmer gains his knowledge, and the younger the child, the better muti you get. And so muti, they believe it's like power. So this is part of the reason why they do some of these things, and it's pure evil. I just can't even wrap my mind around this.
100%. The younger they are, the better the muti will work. So the younger, I mean, I've heard of very, very young children being raped, and it's not necessarily white babies. I think there was one that was only 3 months old, was multiple rape by a number of individuals. So from that perspective, rape is unbelievable. Yes, it's not human. It's not human for any nation. To be raping a 3-month-old baby by multiple individuals. It's past shocking. It's unheard of. But yet, yes, it continues to happen, and it seems to be on the increase. Nowadays, it's almost it's very difficult to find somebody that hasn't been touched by that crime in itself. That means white, black, colored, or any minority, any culture really.
I believe that the international murder rate is 9 out of 100. For a white South African farmer, I believe it is at 54 out of 100. That number, or even close to that number, is insane. It's a white South African farmer is twice as likely to be killed as a police officer. Twice as likely. So it's literally the most dangerous job on earth.
At this particular moment in time. I'm not 100% sure on the numbers. All I know is it is extremely, extremely high. We have been the rape and crime capital of the world for much, much too long. But within these last 25 years, it's unbelievable. Back in my day, you never heard of these things. Drugs was almost never heard of. Never mind murders and rapes in these numbers.
One last question before we go. If you had the chance to speak directly to my president, Mr. Donald Trump, what would you say to him?
I would say to President Donald Trump, you're doing amazing, amazing job. A better job than anybody in the last, I don't even know how many years. I'd say, President, you are more than likely the first president ever to get an opportunity to stop a genocide taking place. And I would implore you to look at the evidence and make a calculated decision. As I say, all the information's out there. You are the first president that's able to stop a genocide. And I would ask you to have a look at the situation and decide from there.
I believe that he knows exactly what's going on. He knew when he sent that tweet out, or he would have never sent it out. He knew he would be viciously attacked, and he did it anyway because it was the right thing to do. And I just hope and pray that change comes very, very soon.
Sure. And I say to your president, build your wall. You have full right to defend your country. Every country deserves their borders and should be able to invite who they want to and expel people that shouldn't be there.
Thank you for that. And yes, we need a wall. I live in the place where we need a wall at our southern border. There are people pouring in, gang members, violent gang members, murderers, rapists, child molesters. And the people making these stupid policies or trying to obstruct this live in mansions behind high walls. They'll never suffer the effects of their policies. It's us regular citizens who will. And this is my state, my home, where I was born, where I'm very proud of. And I feel that they're trying to destroy it. And for selfish reasons and just to be obstructionists. Well, it has been a pleasure talking to you. And I hope that in the future we can speak again. Maybe under better circumstances for your people, I'm hoping. This is the goal. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate you coming on to speak.
That would be wonderful. Thanks for giving me the time to voice my opinion, and thanks for your support. And yes, I hope that it goes out to the masses and they can make their own calculated decisions according to the evidence that is put forward. Thank you, Brandy. Hopefully we'll talk again soon. You have a great one. Thank you, Brandy, for everything. Keep up the good work. Thanks.